Hi, it's Maureen Muldoon with A Course in Miracles, Miracles of Course, and we are on lesson 24. And the lesson for the day is I do not perceive my own best interest. And it goes on to say that in no situation that arises do you realize the outcome that would make you happy. In no situation that arises do you realize the outcome that would make you happy. Therefore, you have no guide to appropriate action and no way to judge the results. What you do is determined by your perception of the situation, and that perception is wrong. It is inevitable, then, that you will not perceive your own best interest. Yet, they are your only goal in any situation which is correctly perceived. Otherwise, you will not realize what they are. If you realize that you do not perceive your own best interest, you could be taught what they are. But in the presence of your conviction that you do know what they are, you cannot learn them. The idea for today is a step towards opening your mind so that learning can begin. The exercise for today requires much more honesty than we are accustomed to using. A few subjects honestly and carefully considered in each of the 5 practice periods which should be undertaken today will be more helpful than a more cursory examination of a large number. So 2 minutes are suggested for each of the mind-searching periods which the exercise involves. The practice periods should begin with repeating today's idea. I do not perceive my own best interest. I do not perceive my own best interest. Followed by searching the mind with eyes closed for unresolved situations about which you are currently concerned. The emphasis should be on uncovering the outcome that you want. You will quickly realize that you have a number of goals in mind as part of the desired outcome, and also that these goals are on different levels and often conflict. In applying the idea for today, name each situation that occurs to you, and then enumerate carefully as many goals as possible that you would like to be met in the resolution. The form of each application should be roughly as follows. In the situation involving blank, I would like blank to happen, and blank to happen, and so on, trying to uncover as many different kinds of outcome as may honestly occur to you, even if some of them do not appear to be directly related to the situation or even be inherent in it at all. And if these exercises are done properly, you will quickly realize that you are making a large number of demands of a situation which have nothing to do with it. You will also recognize that many of your goals are contradictory, and that you have no unified outcome in mind, and that you must experience disappointment in connection with some of your goals, however the situation turns out. I think that's really interesting. We have these goals, and no matter how it turns out, we're going to be disappointed because these are goals that we have separate from God. And all of these goals are contradictory to the plan of God, because the only goal that I should have, is peace. Peace is my goal. After uncovering the list of as many hoped-for goals as possible for each unresolved situation that crosses your mind, say to yourself, I do not perceive my own best interest in this situation, and then go on to the next. So basically what this lesson is saying is that we're like these little kids, and we have this little peephole that we can peek through, in a fence. And we're peeking through this peephole in a fence, and we think that we see everything. We think that we know everything. We think we know all of the outcome from looking through this little teeny peephole. We think we have somehow acquired the vision of God. And God's like, no, you don't have that vision. You just have a little peephole of it. So you cannot see the whole picture. So stop trying to get, to think that you have some kind of overview of the situation. I got the situation. And it's funny because when we're peeking through the hole and when we're having these goals, it sets us up for special love. But God's not interested in special love. God is interested in just love. Just love. Just love. Love is everything. The love of God is equally present all the time, everywhere. And so it makes me think, do we really need goals? If we had that, if we recognize that, if we were really in alignment with that, what could be our goal? Why would we want anything? but to stay in that state of grace and that state of peace. But we don't. We hang on to these crazy little goals, these goals that are so separating, you know? Like, take that example of a kid looking through a fence maybe at a baseball game and hoping for its team to win. And, you know, that is a separate goal right there. That's an example of a separate goal. And then we go, well, what is the outcome? Why do I want this separate goal to happen? And we start to think about the reasons we want this goal to happen. Well, I want to be special. I want my team to win. Well, what do you want specialness for? I want to be separate. And well, what comes from separateness? Oh, fear. Okay, so basically I am asking for fear. So I obviously do not perceive my own best interest. If I can believe in a God that would want one thing over the other, now that's a crazy God. So I do not perceive my own best interest. I have to stop directing God. You know, God does not need my direction. I have to stop wrestling with God. God's perfect plan is unfolding, and I can be at peace with that. You know, God doesn't create these things and say, you know, what do you think? My thoughts are not necessary to the plan of God. My thoughts are not necessary for the plan of God. It's interesting, isn't it? I think it is. Anyhow, I got through lesson 24. I might get through lesson 25. I might not. It might be another 6 months. I do not perceive my own best interests. Namaste. God bless. Have a wonderful day.
It's not that unusual when everything is beautiful. It's just an